Hi guys, this is Max. Welcome to my channel. I'm a trainer and a massage therapist here in Barcelona. Today we have another sport massage video for all that muscle that can get really tight when you're working out. We're gonna address the quad, we're gonna address the muscle that got under load when you do squat, for example, or when you do hip hinging exercise like deadlift. So when you have your client on your table, after you warm up the tissue, you want to use your thumb to follow the train of the muscle all the way to the ilium. So you choose one of the four and you follow the septum all the way to the ilium. For example, the vasa lateralis in the people that do a lot of squat in powerlifter can get really tight, so you want to follow them all the way up. Another technique I use is this active release technique that is really useful for people that have a lot of knee flexion, like people that do squat or a lot of box jumps, and every exercise that involve the knee flexion, this quad can get really tight. So we're gonna work on that origin of the sartorius. We're gonna work on the fascia with this movement. Watch out, don't go too deep, because if you go too deep here you can really hurt your client. There is a bone under the meat, even if it doesn't look like it. The bone is really close, and so you should always look at the face of your client when you do this kind of technique. But now I'm pay attention to the femoral triangle that is made by the sartorio, adductor longus, and the inguinal ligament. It's a place that can get really inflamed and tight, almost like the TFL. The TFL that is a primal move in the hip medial rotation, and is a weak hip adductor. The TFL, and with the technique I'm using, is I'm pointing, and it's kind of a pin and stretch technique. It's really painful, so really, again, especially with people that run a lot, this muscle can get really tight, it can get really tight the knee in what is called ITB syndrome. So the IT band is a thick band of fascia that runs on the lateral side of the thigh from the iliac crest and is set in the knee. As you can see in the picture, this part can get really tight. So with this technique we are able to work practically all the legs. On one side you have the adductors, and on the other side you have the IT band and the quadriceps completely in your hand. So you create space in between the vasa lateralis and the iliotibial band. The iliotibial band that can create, as I said, a lot of knee pain, because when the knee is positioned in extension, the iliotibial band lies anterior to the lateral femoral epicondyle. And when the knee is positioned in 30-degree flexion, the band moves posteriorly. So the lateral femoral epicondyle. So what's the problem? The problem is that this movement of the band back and forth can create inflammation and subsequently pain into the knee. Then from there I move to the hamstring. I use some post-isometric relaxation, so I ask the client to contract the ischio, the hamstring, and after that I kind of extend and move the fascia all the way to the ischio tuberosity. This is a great technique, and it's all the clients really love it, because they feel that you're really stripping down the fascia in the direction that need to be stripped. And then you can even do this, it looks like a passing guard of jiu-jitsu. You can use your ulna and ask the client to move, to contract the hamstring against your shoulder, and then when she relaxes, you can just pinning down the fascia in the direction of the ischio. Really great technique, I really love it, and allow you to have this, with the ulna you have a bigger tool to move down the semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and bicep femoris. Then I always do some manipulation and some mobilization, when I move in this technique that is come from Thai massage, that is kind of the opposite of what we were doing before. You can see now the movement in the opposite direction. Now we are moving the adductor up and the vasta lateralis in the direction of the IT band. So here you find the rhythm. You find the rhythm is really important. To find the rhythm between the movement of your hips and the hips of your client. So the rhythm is important so the client can relax while you're doing the work. And then eventually I move in this series done with the elbow. That is serious because you work across the fiber. You don't follow the direction of the fiber. And then I move actually in the direction of the fiber, in the direction of the pelvis. There is a lot of pain generally in this part of the pelvis, and then I open up the hips. Generally, when I open the front, I open the back. So now you will see that I will move and try to stretch the glutes and the back on the other side of the leg. So it's again some mobilization, and that bring you to stretching of the glutes, but actually stretching of the lumbar that is always connected. Every time we have a hips problem, the lumbar has to be released. So this can be active release technique or MAT, muscle energy technique for the lumbar. I don't do any manipulation here. I just want the client to feel the stretch in the lumbar and in the glutes. And then eventually I move with my hand, I go under the sacrum and I flex the hips while in the same time with my hands I move the sacrum down. I try to repositioning the sacrum down on the table. It's a really great technique if you have pain in the sacrum and in the ligament on the sacrotuberous ligament, for example. When I do some circle on top of it, it's really a really great technique. I love it. And of course, after that, I try to press and mobilize the hips in different positions. This, for example, is even a test for people with arthrosis. If you do that test and it hurts, generally people have arthrosis. And this is another stretching from Thai massage that allow to mobilize the hips with rhythm. That is absolutely necessary when you're doing a massage, to find that rhythm that allow the client, as I said, to relax. Again, I'm moving on the fascia and the quad. Find the point where the attachment of the quad is, the ASIS. And do some movement around the SIS and close to the attachment of the hips. Some work on the adductor again. So we're almost done. This is the last stroke, and then I mobilize the hips and the talus, the ankle. This is a mobilization for the hips again, come from Thai massage, and then some pressing and pulling of the hips using the ankle. Finally, a mobilization of the sacroiliac joint. And that's it, guys, for today. Thank you very much, and subscribe.